Hi everyone, my name is Ravi Prakash and we are doing number system part 2. This is the 7th class of factors. Okay. Now, this is a very important video because in this video we'll be discussing about all the concepts from factors to number, right? Now, so what we did earlier, you'll ask me. Earlier we did all the concepts from number to factors, right? We did number to factors. We had the number and we can calculate factors. Simple formula we had, right? So now in this case, what we're doing factors to number. So we're doing factors to number. Very important, right? To understand. Now you get that formula, right? You remember that formula also. N is which we derived. N is equal to something P1 raised to A into P2 raised to B into P3 raised to C, like that. Where P1, P2, P3 are prime bases. So number of factors of n is equal to what? A plus 1 into B plus 1 into C plus 1, right? This is what? This is power plus 1. Whatever is the power, so P1 raised to A, so A plus 1 factor. P2 raised to B here. P2 raised to B, so B plus 1 factor. Okay. P2 raised to B, so B plus 1 factor. And P3 raised to C, so C plus 1 factor here. It's for A, B and C, right? Now suppose, now we are going reverse, right? Concentrate, we are going reverse. So number of factors to n, we are going. Okay. So suppose if it is given that if n has 2 factors, what is the number? What is the value of n? So if n has 2 factors, then what is n, right? Then n will be, you can simply think what n will be if n has 2 factors. So what is the number of factors? Number of factors are what? Always power, numbers power plus 1. So if n has 2 factors, that means number is like a. And what is the power of a? So power of a is 1. Power of a is 1, right? Because what is factor? Factor is power plus 1. Factor is power plus 1. So what is number of factors? What is the power from number of factor? So power from number of factor will be what? Number of factor minus 1. Factor is power plus 1. So power is what? Factor minus 1. Right? So if there are 2 factors, so what is the number? Could be a raised to 1, right? Number could be what? Number could be a raised to 1. Now what is a raised to 1? A raised to 1 is a only. Now what is a? That means a is what? A only written as a. It can't be broken because a is a prime base, right? Always when you write factors, the number we write always in terms of what? Always in terms of prime bases. That means a is a prime number. So quite easy. We know that prime number has got 2 factors, right? So a has got 2 factors, right? Now, see, if n has 3 factors, now what is n in this case now? So if n has 3 factors, so n is equal to what? A prime base. Let that prime base be a. 3 factors. So what is the power? Factor minus 1. So 3 minus 1 will be what? 2. So a square. That means if n has 3 factors, so n is equal to what? N is equal to a square. Okay. Yeah. That means all the numbers having 3 factors are what? All the numbers having 3 factors are what? Are of the form a square. That means it is any prime number square. Prime number square. So a number, if n has 3 factors, so n is equal to of the form prime square. Any prime number square, right? Suppose I ask you, how many factors? Let's say question here. How many factors? So how many not factors? Let's say how many numbers? Okay. How many numbers? Try it. How many numbers up to 100 have got 3 factors? How many numbers up to 100 have 3 factors? So what will be the answer here? So answer will be all the prime number square up to 100, like 2 square will have 3 factor, 3 square will have 3 factor, 5 square will have 3 factors, 7 square will have 3 factors, 11 square will have 3 factors, right? But 11 square is what? It is beyond 100. It is beyond 100, right? So I don't have to take 11 square. So how many numbers up to 100 have 3 factors? What are those numbers? 4, 9, 25 and 49. There are 4 factors. So 4 numbers up to 100 have got 3 factors, right? So what are 3 factor means? All the numbers of the form prime number is square. Okay. Now again discuss a case. If n has 4 factors, if n has 4 factors, so if n has 4 factors, now in this case what is the value of n? So 4 factors means prime number, any prime number, let's say it is a, raised to what is power factor minus 1, right? So 4 minus 1 is what? 3. So n is of the form a cube, right? But don't stop here, right? Because more we increase number, we started with 2 factor, then with 3 factor, now with 4 factor, right? So more we increase the number, more is the possibility, like it will be written into multiple terms, right? Like 4 can be written as what? 2 into 2. Earlier 3 we couldn't split, 2 we couldn't split, right? But 4 can be splitted as one more term, like 2 into 2. 4 can be splitted as 2 into 2. So this we have to take into account, right? That means it is not necessarily like only a cube has got 4 factors, right? Obviously a cube has 4 factor, but this is not the only term, right? It is only or not the only number. Other numbers may also have 4 factors, right? So when we can split a number into multiple numbers, right? So in that case what we need to do? In that case, take into account, right? So if it is given like if n has 4 factors, we should think like this. See, if n has 4 factors, so you think it can be splitted or not? So yes, it can be splitted. Okay, so that means 4 I can write it as only 4, or 4 I can write it as 2 into 2. Only 2 ways I can write, right? 1 into 4 won't make an impact, right? 1 into 4 won't make an impact, because if I write 4 as 4 into 1, that means it is like a cube, a raised to, because power is 4, so factors are 4, so power is 3. A cube into b0, because if factor is 1, so power is 0. So in that case b0 won't matter, but b0 is 1 only, right? So it doesn't matter here. So that's why here, so 2 into 2, that means I'm trying to split 4, or I'm trying to write n in terms of 2 prime bases, that is a and b. Understand this very carefully, right? We'll do lots of example, you understand, just concentrate. So if n has 4 factors, so 4 can be written in the term as 2 and 2 into 2. So if I'm trying to split it in 2 parts, that means what I'm trying to split in 2 prime bases. N has 2 prime bases, right? If a and b are the prime bases, a has got factors 2. So if a has got factor 2, so what is the power? 1. Power is factor minus 1. If b has got also factor 2, so what is power of b? 1. That means if n is equal to a into b, then a into b also will have how many factor? Power is 1. So 1 plus 1 into 1 plus 1, that is 2 into 2, 4 factor. So a into b also has 4 factors, right? A into b also has 4 factor, as well as a cube also have 4 factors. Right, this is very important concept. Okay, if n has 4 factors, so a cube and a into b both will have 4 factors, right? So we just need to take this case also in account, right? Okay, now let's increase the number a bit, right? So let's increase the number a bit and understand further. Now, if the question is, if n has 20 factors, right? Let's write down all the cases. If n has 20 factors, so what can be the different values of n? What can be the different values of n, right? So if n has 20 factors, so again, obviously I can feel it, right? I can split 20 into many parts. Right? But if we write 20 as only 20, that means I'm trying to write it in terms of single prime base. In single prime base, let the prime base be a. If the factors is 20, so what is the power? 19. So n is of the form a raised to 19. Okay, n is of the form a raised to 19. Now if 20 can be splitted as 4 into 5. Okay, so 4 into 5, that means I'm trying to write in terms of 2 prime bases, right? That is A into B. A has got 4 factors or 5, right? Either of this. So if A has got 4 factors, what is the power? 3. If B has got 5 factors, what is the power of B? 4. How many number of factors? So A cube into B4. If you do reverse of it, so A cube into B4, how many factors? 3 plus 1 into 4 plus 1. That is 4 into 5, 20 factors. That means 20 factor, right? That means A cube into B4, any number of the form A cube into B4 where A and B are prime numbers have got 20 factors, right? Have got 20. And what are the other possibilities? 20 can also be splitted as what? 2 into 10. 2 into 10, right? That means again, if I'm splitting into 2 parts, that means I'm trying to write n in terms of 2 prime bases, right? So that means again, let's A and B be 2 prime bases. A has got power, A has got factor 2, so power 1. B has got factor 10, so power 9. Or I can reverse also, right? No issue. It doesn't matter, right? A and B variables only, na? If I write in terms of A raised to 9 into B raised to 1, it doesn't matter, right? So 2 into 10. Then I can further split 20. So 20, their first way is 20 as only 20. That means A raised to 19. Second way is 4 into 5. So A cube into B4. Third way is 2 into 10. So further I cannot split into 2 parts, right? Because 2 into 10, 4 into 5, this is the only possibility. Now I can split into 3 parts also. Because 4 is what? 2 into 2. So I can write like 2 into 2 into 5. So now you get the meaning, right? Because in this, if I'm writing in terms of 2 parts, that means I'm trying to write n in terms of 2 prime bases. But if I'm writing into 3 parts, that means I'm trying to write n into 3 prime bases, right? So what are the 3 prime bases? Let it be A, B and C. These are the 3 prime bases. Okay. A has got factor 2, so power 1. B has got factor 2, so power 1. C has got factor 5, so power 4. Correct. So this is all the possibility, right? So that means if n has 20 factors, these are the all possibilities. 19, A cube raised to B4, A9 to B1, right? And A1, B1, C4. These are all the possibilities. If n has 20 factors, n can be of this 4 forms. Okay. Now we'll do one more task here. Now if n has 20 factors, if I ask you a question here, if n has 20 factors, what is the minimum value of n? What is the minimum value of n? Okay, so let me write a question here. If n has 20 factors, what is the minimum value of n? If n has 20 factors, what is the minimum value of n? This is the question, right? So see, this is the approach, right? So if n has 20 factors, so I can write all these possibilities here. But what is the minimum value? So let's calculate the minimum value in each case, right? You understand this concept also, right? What is the minimum value in case of first case? So n is of the form A raised to 19, where A is any prime number. So what is the minimum prime number we have available is 2. That means the minimum value in this case is what? 2 raised to 19. Okay. What is the minimum value in this case? So minimum value of A cube into B raised to 4. I know that A and B are prime numbers. That's how factors are written in form, right? So A and B are prime numbers. So where A and B are prime numbers, so I have to assign 2 minimum values, A and B. So 2 of the minimum prime numbers available are what? 2 and 3. But we should assign, like, we have to get minimum value, right? So if I assign 3 to B, right? So number becomes 2 cube into 3 raised to 4. This is not minimum, right? But because what will be minimum in this case? Because minimum will be when B has got more power and I'm trying to minimize the value. So I should assign lower value to higher power, right? I should assign lower value to higher power to minimize the value. So that means I should assign 2 to B and 3 to 3. So it should be 3 cube into 2 raised to 4, right? This is minimum obviously than this case. This is the minimum one, right? So we won't take this case, right? So this is the case. So minimizing the value, that means higher is the power, I should assign lower value to minimize it. So what is 3 cube into 2 raised to 4? You can observe 27 into 16. It is nothing but 432. Minimum value in this case. Okay. What is the minimum value in this case? Again, 2 of the minimum prime numbers available are 2 and 3. So I should assign 2 to 9 and 3 to A. Sorry, 2 to B and 3 to A, because higher power you should assign lower value to minimize the value. It will be like 3 into 2 raised to 9. This will be 1536. Okay. And in this case, there's split into 3 parts. That means I need to assign 3 of the minimum values. That is 2, 3 and 5. And that 2 assign like 2 should be given to highest power to minimize the value, right? So I should give 2 to C. So we should give 3 and 5 to A. That means, so 5 into 3 into 2 raised to 4. That is what? That is 240. 240, right? You can observe that n has 20 factors. So n is equal to what? 2 raised to 19. So when I'm not splitting at all, right, this value is much more than all this value, right? 2 raised to 19 is very huge value, some lakhs and all. Okay. Here it is 432, very small value than 2 raised to 19. 1536 is smaller value than 2 raised to 19, right? And here also 240. So 240 is much smaller value, right? But what is the minimum of all these 4? So 1, 2, 3 and 4. The minimum value available is what? So n minimum is what? 240. 240, right? Now, you see, you can observe a pattern here that when n is of the form a raised to 19, that means when I didn't split n at all, that in that case, the minimum value will be what? 2 raised to 19. That is much more than this value 240, right? Because 240 comes by when n we have splitted maximum, right? So n is 20 and 20 has been splitted into its maximum like 3 parts here, right? So in this case I'm getting the minimum value of n, right? But don't make this a pattern, right? That always a maximum splitting will give minimum value, right? This is not true always. Right? We'll do question on this, right? This is not true always. Okay. But you can check around maximum splitting, right? This is like it is true for many numbers actually, right? For many bigger numbers also it is true. So it works. So if their numbers are like big 30, 40, 50, 60 like that, right? So you can try it. It will work in most of the cases, right? So instead of writing all the possibilities, you should work on trying to find the minimum value. That means split in maximum parts. Okay, split in maximum part and then see its near about values, right? I'll give an example. What I'm trying to say is here. Let's move in next question, right? So this slide is completely okay, I think. If what we discussed is if n has 20 factors, so if n has 20 factors, then n can be of these 4 forms: a raised to 19, a cube into b4, a raised to 1 into b raised to 9, and a b into c raised to 4. So if I calculate minimum value in all the cases, so 240 is our minimum value. Right? So 240 is the answer for this question. If n has 20 factors, n minimum is what? 240. Correct. Now, we're discussing this concept of maximum splitting equal to minimum value. Not always true, but it works in most of the cases. Right? So like suppose for next, let me take an example here. If n has 60 factors, obviously n is a natural number, right? If n has 60 factors, what is the minimum value of n? Right? Now it's a bigger number. 60 is a big number, right? So if you write down all the possibilities, so you can think of it, right? Obviously, suppose like n is equal to, if you don't split 60 at all, so I'm trying to write in terms of single prime base, right? That is a raised to 59, that means, right? Now if I split 60, it is 2 into 30, right? That is a raised to 1 into b raised to 29. A has got factor 2, so power 1. B has got factor 30, so power 29, right? A can be also split like 3 into 20. Sorry, n can be split like 3 into 20 also, 60 as 3 into 20. So what is the number? Again 2 prime base. So A has factor 3, so power 2. B has factor 20, so power 19. Okay, move to next one. again it's like into 4 into 15. So A has got factors 4, so power 3. B has got factor 15, so power 14. Okay. Then 5 into 12. Just have patience, right? Writing all the values, right? So A raised to 4 into B raised to 11. Okay. Then like this, all the possibilities again, right? Okay. 6 into 10. A raised to 5 into B raised to 9. Okay. So in terms of 2, 2, I've taken all the possibilities, right? All the possibilities I've taken. Splitting in terms of 2, 2, right? Now splitting in terms of 3, 3, I can also split. In terms of 3, 3, I can also split, right? So 60 can also be splitted like in terms of 3. So 2 into 2 into 15. Okay. Or 2 into 6 into 5. Or can take example of 3 into 4 into 5, right? Like this I can split in many terms, right? Let them again write down all the possibilities. So 2 into 2 into 15. So like if 8 is A, B, C, so A raised to 1 into B raised to 1 into C raised to 14, right? Because if I'm splitting 60 into 3 terms, that means I'm trying to write 60 in terms of 3 prime bases. So A raised to 1 into B raised to 1 into C raised to 14, because A has got factor 2, so power 1. B has got factor 2, so power 1. C has got factor 15, so power 14. Same here also. A, B, C I should write. A has got factor 2, so power 1. B has got factor 6, so power 5. C has got factor 5, so power 4. Here also A, B, C. A has got factor 3, A, so A square, B cube, C 4. Okay, like this, all the possibilities. I am writing it up, right? Okay, so what is the minimum value? I'm trying to find out what is the minimum value of n when n has 60 factors. I'm trying to find a pattern here, right? Just have patience here. Understand this concept. Yeah, okay. So understand. So A square into BQ into C4, right? So let's have what is the minimum value, right? So if I'm trying to calculate what is the minimum value in this part, right? What is the minimum value in this part here? You can see I can assign 3 of the minimum prime numbers here, that is 2, 3 and 5. So 5 I should assign to A, 3 I should assign to B, and 2 I should assign to C. So I have to minimum value. What is the number here? 25 into 27 into 16. This number is what? This number is 10,800. Just 10,800, right? If you're splitting in minimum, right? In minimum, okay. 3, 4, 5. You're splitting into 3 parts here. Now, if you try to, what is minimum value here? If you try to find out, okay. So obviously it is like 2 raised to 5. I should assign 2 to 5 B. Then I should assign 3 to C and 5 to A. Obviously to minimize the value. There is 32 into 81 into 5. So 32 into 405, right? This is also much bigger. This is also much. 32 into 405, like 12,960. So if I'm not doing any calculation mistake, right? So this is also bigger, right? So these numbers are bigger, bigger, bigger. It is going on. This is obviously, right? There's something C raised to 14 here. So obviously it is much bigger. Right? 2 raised to 14 is a big number. 2 raised to 14 into 3 into 5. So it's a bigger number, right? Again, it's split into 2 parts. Again, bigger numbers, right? Suppose like it is what? Its minimum value will be what? 3 raised to 5 into 2 raised to 9. So all these are very big numbers, right? 2 bigger number. Big numbers, obviously big number, right? Also big number, right? All powers kept on increasing. So value goes on bigger, right? So in terms of, right, so we also always should think in terms of maximum splitting, right? So 60 can be split into, like, this is okay, this is for 3 parts, right? 60 can also be split in 4 parts, right? Like it is 3 into 4 into 5. Again, 4 is can be written as 2 into 2 into 3 into 5, right? Because 4 can be written as 2 into 2. So see, here if we do for 60 here, so if 60 can be split into 4 parts, right? That is a maximum splitting. So 2 into 2 into 3 into 5, okay? So 2 into 2 into 3 into 5. So let me write 60 as 2 into 2 into 3 into 5, right? What is the number form here? A, B, C, D, because I am splitting into 4 terms. So I am expected to write n in terms of 4 prime bases, right? So A has got factor 1, so factor 2, so power 1. B factor 2, so power 1. C factor 3, so power 2. D factor 5, so power 4. right? So if I write down all the values here, so what is the minimum value here? So minimum value here possible will be, I should assign 2 to D. 4 of the minimum prime numbers available are 2, 3, 5, 7, right? So I should assign 2 to D, 3 to C, and 5 and 7 to A and B. 5 to B and like 7 to A I should give. So what is the answer? 35 into 9 into 16. This is 50, 40, right? This is the smallest number possible. It is the answer. So 50, 40 is the smallest number possible. This is the answer, right? In all these parts, the year 10,800, the values goes bigger. Then again it goes bigger, right? This goes bigger, bigger, bigger. So for maximum splitting will give to minimum value. It works for the bigger number. Maximum splitting will give you minimum value. It works for the bigger number, right? It's not always true. Understand this. These are the very tough questions, right? If n has 60 factor, what is the minimum value of n? A very tough question. But if we work on this maximum splitting to get minimum value, right? It works most of the time. Or you find the answer near about only, right? That means if I have to find this question for the answer for this question, right? If I took n has 20 factors in the previous question, again you see maximum splitting got minimum value. For 60 also, maximum splitting got minimum value. It worked, right? So in most of the cases, it will work. Okay. So we'll do a question where it will not work, obviously, right? So like suppose if I ask you, if n has 16 factors, what is the minimum value of n? Right, so in this case, see, I'm solving it. In this case, it won't work, right? But it is near about, right? It's not like answer is very far. Because if n has 16 factors, if you don't at all split 16, so n can be written in terms of a raised to 15, right? So this is a single prime base. And this is for single, right? And this is for maximum. What is the maximum will be? Maximum will be in terms of maximum splitting. So 16 can be split as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. This is the minimum. This is the minimum splitting of 16. So I can write 16 and 16 itself. This is the maximum splitting of 16, right? So like in terms of 4 prime bases, right? So A into B into C into D. All have got factor 2, 2, 2. So power is 1, 1, 1, 1. Right. So obviously, right, this is very true that here A raised to 15 will, what is the minimum value of A raised to 15 here? It is 2 raised to 15. What is the minimum value here? What is the minimum value here? It is 2 into 3 into 5 into 7, right? 4 of the least prime numbers, that is 210. So see, this 2 raised to 15 is much bigger than 2 raised to 10. Sorry, 210, right? So this is always true, right? When you don't split a number at all, and when you do a maximum splitting of the number, when you don't split a number will be much bigger than that, right? So obviously this case will not fall in our minimum case, right? But in this case, we should also check about near about, right? So answer will not be, let's say answer is not here in a raised to 15 part, right? In minimum splitting, but answer can lie if I write like this if I try to split 16 into 3 parts, right? Those 3 parts could be what? 4 into 2 into 2, let's say, is 1 3 part, right? I can split like this, 4 into 2 into 2. So what is the 4 into 2 into 2? What is the number? So 4 into 2 into 2, number will be a cube into b into c, right? Because factor 2 power 1 power 1, factor 4 power 3. What is the minimum number here? So minimum number here will be 2 cube into 3 into 5, right? This is what? This is 120. You see, 120 is smaller than 210. Correct. So in this case, 120, right? If you further split this one, right? If you further split this one, okay. So if you look into obvious parts, right? Suppose like if you split like it into 2 parts, right? If 3 can be only in 3, this 4 into 2 into 2. In 2 parts, it could be like 8 into 2. Something like a raised to 7 into b raised to 1. This is much bigger, right? Because it contains what? It contains 2 raised, its minimum value will be what? It will be 2 raised to 7 into 3 raised to 1. This is bigger than obviously 120 and 210, right? This is 384, right? And further it will be bigger only if you split in further in any other part, right? See, these values are bigger, right? You see, these values will be bigger. Okay. So that what I mean to say, right? These are very tough questions, right? But you have got the concept now. Okay. And when you know the concept, right? So if I suppose this kind of questions are asked, what is n has certain number of factors, what is the minimum value of n, right? So in this case, you should always check around, you should always do maximum splitting, and this will check around for minimum value, right? Not always it will be true, it will be true for the most of the time, or otherwise, like if it is not true, like in this case also, so you'll get the answer around it only, right? Like suppose if 16 can be split in one part, it can be split into two parts, it can be split into three parts, and then four part, right? So if four part won't give you answer, then third part will do, right? Three parts will do, right? So that means answer will not lie very far if you split the maximum part, right? Because obviously, why? Because obviously when you split in lesser parts, power will be more, right? Like here a raised to 15, so power is more, 2 raised to 15 is a much bigger power, right? Here also 8 into 2, so a raised to 7 into b raised to 1, so again 2 raised to 7 is a bigger power, right? So if power is more, if you split into lesser parts, power is more, right? So if power is more, number will be right, number will be what? Number will be more. I want minimum number, so around maximum splitting will give minimum value, right? In most of the cases, that maximum part will be the answer. Always for bigger numbers it will work, right? But for smaller numbers, you need to check for this one part less than also, right? Suppose if maximum splitting is 4 part, then check for 3 parts also, like this, then you'll get the answer. Always it is true, right? So I'll give you more such questions in quiz, okay? And we'll continue this concept in next video. This factors to number, very important concept, right? We'll continue this in next video. Okay, thank you.